And joining us now for Therapeutic Thursday is Lauren English, a licensed professional counselor and a business development representative at Pinnacle Point Hospital. Lauren, thanks so much for being here. We're talking about understanding grief and loss of life during this COVID-19 pandemic. There's so many things going on that we're missing or not able to really feel is maybe the best word for it because of the limitations that are amongst us in terms of things that we just can't be a part of and be around people.
Right. Well, thanks for having us on today. So with this pandemic, a lot of us are feeling discomfort, and some people may not realize that's actually grief. And a lot of times grief is associated with death, but it's also associated with loss of any type. And everybody right now is dealing with the collective loss of the world that we once knew. It's been a lot different since this all began. And then also individually, we're facing our own losses, maybe just worries about job loss or financial anxiety, loss of safety, worry about loved ones, and social distancing and feeling isolated from everybody. Also just changes in our daily habits and routines, not getting to see people like we used to during the workday, or even our friends, and how we socialize has really changed. And also just special plans and events have often changed for people. A lot of people maybe had weddings, upcoming weddings, and things scheduled in their lives, and maybe kids that just wanted to go to camp. You know, things have really changed daily, and we've really had to cope with that individually and collectively. A lot of people are just worried about how to pay rent and how to pay their bills, and having sadness over the pandemic and just an anticipatory grief of what will happen in the future.
And it certainly can impact us all a little differently. And I think that's something that we're finding out as well. What may impact me may not impact my spouse the same way, or my children the same way.
Right. And a lot of times we just really need to look at what's going on with us and people and how they're coping in light of this change. And some of those signs that you may be coping with grief during the pandemic include trouble focusing on normal tasks, sleeping more or less than usual, feeling angry or irritable, having headaches or upset stomach, fatigue or low energy, re-experiencing previous feelings of grief, and engaging in activities such as overeating or maybe online shopping to distract yourself. And then just avoiding talking about the pandemic in general. I know there's a lot of talk all over the place and a lot of opinions, but sometimes if you notice that you're just having a lot of avoidance, that can be a sign of grief as well.
You mentioned the physical aspects of it. I think a lot of people, and you probably find this as well, don't realize that grief or that sadness or some of these emotional things can have a physical impact.
Absolutely. So we want to pay attention to a lot of those somatic complaints. If you're noticing headaches or stomach aches or anything along those lines, just really being able to pay attention to our feelings in general can sometimes be hard for people. But one of the best things that you can do is realize that people are resilient. We've been through things before in our lives, maybe job losses or divorces, but we've never really been through anything like this. And so allow yourself to name and claim your grief. And I think that's one of the most important things that we can all do right now. Whether you like to journal or just have somebody in your life that you can talk to, being able to put a name to it is going to be the first step in allowing you to really grieve what was. And this is also healthy because you can just say, I'm dealing with this, and I'm sad about not getting to see a loved one, or I'm sad that life is looking different in the future. And this is going to really help you when you have to think about how life has changed and you really need help moving forward.
Lauren, if you're concerned that you're not improving following loss, especially during this time, what is the best plan of action for our viewers out there?
We always encourage anybody facing any sort of symptoms related to mental health to talk to a mental health professional. There's so many ways that we can do that now, even though life has changed in a lot of ways. There's ways to talk online with telehealth, and you can do that pretty much any time of day. So that's going to be something that could be a huge resource to you. A lot of times people don't realize, their life has really changed and been impacted until they actually do go to therapy and they talk to somebody and say, I've been carrying this weight for a really long time. So it can be a huge relief to find somebody that you can work with to work through challenges in life. And at Pinnacle Point, we see kids ages 5 to 17. So if you see a child or a teen struggling, we'd be happy to give you an assessment any time of day, 24/7, over the phone. And our number is 1-800-880-3322.
Lauren English with Pinnacle Point Hospital for our Therapeutic Thursday segment. Thanks so much for all your advice and information.
Thanks so much, Allison.
Stick around. We're back right after this.